Why a job is a dead end. From the moment we were able to speak our first words to when we became young adults, we were painted a false picture of the ideal life. That is, go to school, get married, and start a family. Work extremely hard for 50 years and possibly retire to live on a pension. This ideology was instilled to us by our family and friends under the assumption that getting a job will solve, if not all, most of our problems. However, as we mature, we quickly realize that such mindset will only help us temporarily. In fact, following that path will ensure that we make barely enough to survive and never enough to live in abundance. Furthermore, you will be adhering to a system whom most people must submit to minimum wage, whether they like it or not, out of necessity. Competing with one another to climb the corporate ladder in order to get a better position. Always feeling financially insecure, which causes stress, anxiety, sleeplessness, and depression. When we hear the word slavery, what we typically envision is the chattel slavery, a system in which principles of property law are applied to people, allowing individuals to own, buy, and sell other individuals as a de jure form of property. Our minds tend to only make that connection because our parents in schools solely taught us about this form of slavery. We learned about the thousands of years which humans have been imprisoning others and forcing them to do labor on their behalf. In schools, it is said that the country decided to abolish slavery after the Civil War, or so we thought. Unless you wish to expand your understanding and open your eyes to the realization that there are entities in today's society which still enslave people. These forces aren't directly perceptible, but you can understand that they are there when you use your mind. Though the chains are no longer visible because the person is working a specific shift, or because they are stressed, or because certain employees can be promoted to a higher rank in the public eye, they are still there under the disguise of wages. Wage labor, though this is difficult to believe in modern society, is a form of slavery. It is nowhere near as horrible as chattel slavery, obviously, but that doesn't just dismiss that it is the truth. Although we currently have all the tools and necessary services to feed, shelter, and provide for the basic needs and wants of all humanity, our economic system prevents us from doing such. Furthermore, it prevents us from living in a world of abundance that can be easily created, for the simple reason that cash is scarce. Hence, not everyone will be able to afford to live a decent life. Dear future entrepreneurs and moguls, here are 5 signs indicating that a job is a modern day slavery. Number 1, being forced to work. Though at times, stressful work is beautiful when done out of love and adding value to contribute to the well-being of the world. However, the majority of people don't work because they love what they do or out of their desire to share their passion with the world. On the contrary, they hate their job and only do it because they don't have much of a choice. They submit to their job just so they can earn enough money to pay their bills. A decision they will never make if given the chance to live well without having to do so, or if they were aware of another alternative. Number 2, you must bow down to an executive. Since most people's wages depends on their employers, they have to see them as authority figures and absolutely yield to their will. A clear sign that most people are enslaved to their job is that they can't have a say and express themselves creatively when carrying out a task. They must obey the orders given to them by those above them in the work hierarchy. Your time isn't spent productively. The standard working hours in most first and second world countries across the globe are around 8 hours per day, which means that about a half of most people's day is owned by their employers, and they waste it doing things they hate doing. If freedom means the choice to spend our time doing things we enjoy doing, then this clearly means that everyone who has a normal job is actually under a slave contract. Number 4, your energy is being wasted in vain. Other than wasting your time, a job is also very energy consuming. After having worked for about 8 hours in conditions of heat, stress, and hunger, most people return to their home feeling utterly exhausted, not having enough energy to do anything that could provide them joy and possibly improves their quality of life. All that energy has been wasted during their work, leaving them physically, emotionally, and mentally drained. Number 5, nothing substantial is being built. Instead of working towards building something that could potentially lead you to financial freedom and create generational wealth, most employees spend the vast majority of their lives working on something they have zero ownership of. Whether it be their current or previous jobs, most people fail to realize that they spend their entire life helping someone else to build his or her dream. Furthermore, they are being used as pawns by the company owners up until the owners no longer need them and discard of them. Number 6, you aren't paid for what you deserve, or you aren't paid what you deserve. There is a saying in business that goes as follows: your employer will never pay you enough to be his or her neighbor. This simply means that no matter how hard and how long you work for your boss, he or she will never pay you enough to live besides him or her. Your employer will only pay you enough to keep you around and to squeeze everything out of you. Not only is your boss aware of the state of the economy, he or she knows that there will always be someone in need of a job in case you decided to quit or were fired. Furthermore, your boss knows that most people don't have what it takes to become an employer and will therefore always be in need of a job, and in consequence shall settle for less. In conclusion, though the chains are no longer visible because the person is working a specific shift, or because they are stressed, or because certain employees can be promoted to a higher rank in the public eye, they are still under the disguise of wages. The end. Thank you.